Céad Míle Fáilte. Welcome to the Treasured Tales of Ireland, a place where you can come and listen to the many myths, legends, folktales, and fairy tales of the Emerald Isle, helping to keep the stories of the past alive. My name is Mylinda Butterworth, and I will be your teller of tales. I hope you will join me each week for new stories. And if you enjoy my work, please like, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. Additionally, be sure to explore my many other story collections for more tales. Before we begin, please note that if you're watching the closed caption feature of this video, that many Irish names do not sound the way they appear, and we have made every effort to pronounce them correctly. Now, let's get started. Today we continue with the book of the Fianna, Huntings and Enchantments, with the story of the wedding of Ceann Slieve, part 9 of 14, episode 47. Finn and the Fianna made a great hunting one time on the hill of Tark, that is over Loch Lean and Foramore, and they went on with their hunting till they came to a pleasant green Slieve Achta, and from it spread over green-topped hills and through thick tangled woods and rough red-headed hills and over the wide plains of the country. And every chief man among them chose the place that was to his liking, and the gap of danger he was used to before. And the shouts they gave and the turns of the hunt were heard in the woods all around, so that they started the deer in the wood and sent the foxes wandering and the little red beasts climbing rocks and badgers from their holes and birds flying and fawns running their best. Then they let out their angry, small-headed hounds and sent them hunting. And it is red the hands of the Fianna were that day, and it is proud they were of their hounds that were torn and wounded before evening. It happened that day no one stopped with Finn, but only Diorraing, son of Dovar. "Well, Diorraing," said Finn, "let you watch for me while I go asleep. For 'tis early I rose today, and it is an early rising a man makes when he cannot see the shadow of his 5 fingers between himself and the light of day, or know the leaves of the hazel from the leaves of the oak." With that, he fell into a quiet sleep that lasted till the yellow light of the evening, and the rest of the Fianna, not knowing where he was gone, gave over the hunt. And the time was long to Diorraing while Finn was asleep, and he roused him and told him the Fianna must have given up the hunt, for he could not hear a cry or a whistle from them. "The end of the day is come," said Finn then, "and we will not follow them tonight, and go now to the wood," he said, "and bring timber and dead branches for a shelter, and I will go looking for food for the night." So Diorraing went to the wood, but he was not gone far till he saw a fine, well-lighted house of the Sidhe before him on the edge of the wood near at hand, and he went back to Finn with the news. "Let us go to it," said Finn, "for we ought not to be working in this place, and people living so near to hand." And the doorkeeper came to it. "Whose house is this?" said Diorraing. "It belongs to Conan of Ceann Slieve," said the doorkeeper. "Tell him," said Diorraing, "there are 2 of the Fiannas of the Gael at the door." The doorkeeper went in then and told Conan there were 2 men of the Fianna at the door. "The one of them," he said, "is young and strong and quiet and fair-haired and more beautiful than the rest of the men of the world, and he has his hand a small-headed white-breasted hound, having a collar of rubbed gold and a chain of old silver. And the other of them," he said, "is a brown and ruddy and white-toothed, and he is leading a yellow-spotted hound by a chain of bright bronze." "It is well you have made your report of them," said Conan, "and I know them by it. For the man you spoke of first is Finn, son of Cool, head of the Fianna of Ireland, and Bran is his hand. And the other is Diorraing, and Sheolan in his hand. And go down quickly, and let them in," he said. Finn and Diorraing were brought in then, and they got good attendance, and their arms were taken from them, and a grand feast was made ready that pleased them well. And the wife of Conan was at one side of Finn, and his daughter Finjalove of the fair shape was at the other side. And they had a great deal of talk together. And at last, seeing her so beautiful, the color of gold on her curled hair, and her eyes as blue as flowers, and a soft four-cornered cloak fastened at her breast, and a silver pin, he asked her of Conan for his wife. "Leave asking that, Finn," said Conan, "for your own courage is not greater than the courage of the man she is promised to." "Who is that?" said Finn. "He is Faha, son of the king of Esrua," said Conan. "Your wounds and your danger on yourself," said Diorraing, "and it would be right," he said, that stammering tongue that gave out those words to be tied and to be shortened forever, "and a drink of death to be given to you, for if the wide of the men of Jaw," he said, "could be put into one body, Finn would be better than them all." "Leave off, Diorraing," said Finn, "for it is not fighting I'm here for, but asking a wife, and I will get her, whether the men of Jaw think good or bad of it." "I will not be making a quarrel with you," said Conan, "but I will put you under bonds as a true hero to answer me everything I'm going to ask you." "I will do that," said Finn. When Conan put questions to Finn as to his birth and his rearing, and the deeds he had done since he came to the Fianna, and Finn gave full answers to them all, at last he said, "Let us go on with this no longer, but if you have musicians with you, let them be brought in to us now, for it is not my custom," he said, "to be for a single night without music." "Tell me first," said Conan, "who was it made the stored Fianna, the mutterer of the Fianna, and when was it made?" "I will tell you the truth of that," said Finn. "It was made in Ireland by the 3 sons of Kermit, Honeymouth, and 9 men used to be surrounding it, and since it came to me, I have 50 men sounding it." "And tell me this," said Conan, "what is the music pleased you best of all you heard?" "I will tell you that," said Finn. "The time the 7 battalions of the Fianna are gathered in one place, raise the spear shafts over their heads, and the sharp whining of the clear, cold wind goes through them. That is very sweet to me. And when the drinking hall is set in Alvin, and the cupbearers give out the bright cups to the chief men of the Fianna, that is very sweet to me. And it is sweet to me to be listening to the voice of the seagull and the heron, and the noise of the waves of Trailea, the song of the 3 sons of Marya, the whistle of Louis's son, and the voice of the cuckoo in the beginning of summer, and the grunting of the pigs on the plain of Ethna, and the shouting of laughing in Dara." And it is what he said. "The Dord in the green top woods, the lasting wash of the waves against the shore, the noise of the waves of Trailea meeting with the wave of white trout, the 3 men that came to the Fianna, a man of them gentle, and a man of them rough, another man of them ploughing the clouds, they were sweeter than any other. The grey mane of the sea, the time a man cannot follow its tracks, the swell that brings the fish to the land. It is sleep music, it sounds so sweet. Feargal, son of Fiann, a man that was ready-handed. It is long his leap was, it is well marked his track is. He never gave a story that did not go away with secrets. It is his voice with music of sleep to me." And when Finn had answered all the questions as well, Conan said he would give his daughter, and then he would have a wedding feast ready. at the end of the month. They spent the rest of the night then in sleep, but Finn saw a dreadful vision from his sleep that made him start 3 times from his bed. "What makes you start from your bed, Finn?" said Diorraing. "It was a Tuatha Dé Danann I saw," he said, "taking up a quarrel against me and making a great slaughter of the Fianna." Now, as to the Fianna, they rested at Forherla of Mogna that night, and they were downhearted, having no tidings of Finn. And early on the morrow, 2 of them, Bran Bag and Bran Mor, rose up and went to Mock-Arath, son of the Ram, that had gift of true knowledge, and they asked him, where did Finn spend the night? And Mock-Arath was some way unwilling to tell them, but at least he said it was the house of Slieve. The 2 Brans went on then to Conan's house, and Finn made them welcome. But they blamed him, and they heard he was taking a wife, and none of his people with him. "Bid all the Fianna to come to the feast at the end of the month," said Conan then. So Finn and Diorraing and the 2 Brans went back to where the Fianna were, and told them all what had happened, and they all went to Alvin. And when they were in the drinking hall at Alvin that night, they saw the son of the King of Ireland coming to where they were. "It is a pity the king's son to have come," said Finn, "for he will not be satisfied without ordering everything in the hall in his own way." "We will not take his orders," said Oisin, "but we will leave the half of the hall to him and keep the other half to ourselves." So they did that. But it happened that in the half of the house that was given up to the King of Ireland's son, there were sitting 2 of the men of Jaw, Flava Mor and Flava Bag, and it is what they said. That is because they were at the far side of the hall it was given up. "It is a pity," said Flava Bag, "this shame that is great insult to have been put on us tonight. And it is likely Finn has a mind to do more than that again to us," he said. "For he's going to bring away the woman that is promised to the 3rd best man of the Tuatha Dé Danann, and against the will of her father and mother." And these 2 went away early in the morning to Finvar of Moy Feahal, and told him of the insults Finn and Fianna of Ireland had a mind to put on the Tuatha Dé Danann. And when Finvar, that was king over the Tuatha Dé Danann, heard that, he sent out messengers to the length of Ireland to gather all to him. And there came 6 good battalions to him on the edge of Loch Jarrag at the end of the month, and it was the same day Conan had the wedding feast made ready for Finn and his people. And Finn was at Tea-hour Lucra at that time, and when he heard the feast was ready, he set out to go to it. And it chanced that the most of the men he had with him at that time were the sons of Morna. And when they were on their way, Finn said, "Girl, oh girl," he said, "I never felt any fear till now, going to a feast. And there are but a few people with me," he said, "and I know there is no good thing about me, but the men of Jaw are going to raise a quarrel against me, and to kill my people." "I will defend against anything they may do," said Gull. They went on their way to Conan's house, and there was a welcome before them, and they were brought into the drinking hall. Finn put in the place beside the door, and Gull on his right, in Finjauv on the fair shape on his left, and all the rest in the places they were used to. And as to Finvar of Moy Feahal and the Tuatha Dé Danann, they put a Druid mist about themselves and went on, hidden and armed, in 16 battalions to the lawn before Conan's house. "It is little profit we have being here," they said, "and Gull being with Finn against us." "Gull will not protect him this time," said Ethna, the woman Druid, "for I will entice Finn out of the house, however well he is watched." She went on to the house and then took her stand before Finn outside. "Who is that before me?" she said then. "It is I myself," said Finn. I put you under bonds, a true hero never broke, she said, to come out to me here. When Finn heard that, he made no delay and went out to her, and for all there were so many in the house, not one of them took notice of him going, only Quilta, and he followed him out. And at the same time the Tuatha Dé Danann led out a flock of blackbirds having fiery beaks that pitched on the breast of all the people in the house and burned them and destroyed them till the little young lads and the women and the children of the place ran out on all sides, and the women of the house of Conan's wife was drowned in the river outside the dune. But as to Ethna, the woman Druid, she asked Finn would run against her. What is to run a race against you? I called you out, she said. What length of a race? Said Finn. From Dara da Tark, the wood of the two boars, to Athmore, the great ford, she said. So set out, but Finn got first over the ford, and Quilta was following after him, and Finn was urging him, and he said, It is ashamed of your running you should be, Quilta, a woman to be going past you. On that, Quilta made a leap forward, and when he was in front of the witch, he turned about and gave a blow of his sword that made equal halves of her. Power and good luck to you, Quilta, said Finn, for thought it many a good blow for you have struck, you never struck a better one than this. They went back then to the lawn before Conan's dune, and there they found the whole company of the Tuatha Dé Danann that had put the Druid mist off them. It seems to me, Quilta, said Finn, that we are come into the middle of our enemies. With that they turned their backs to one another, and they were attacked on all sides, till groans of weakness from the unequal fight were forced from Finn. And when Gull that was in the house heard that, he said, It is a pity the Tuatha Dé Danann to have enticed Finn and Quilta away from us, and let us go to their help and make no delay, he said. Then he rushed out, and all that were there of the Fianna with him, and Conan, Ceann, Slieve, and his sons. And great anger came on Gull, that he looked like a tall mountain under his grey shield to the battle. And he broke through the Tuatha Dé Danann till he reached Finvar, their leader, and they attacked one another, cutting and wounding, till at last Finvar of Moy-Fé Ahal fell by the strokes of Gull. And a great many others fell in that battle, and there never was a harder battle fought in Ireland, for there was no man on one side or the other had a mind to go back one step before whoever he was fighting against, for they were the two hardest fighting troops to be found in the 4 parts of the world, the strong hardy Fianna of the Gael, and the beautiful men of Jaw, and they went near to being all destroyed in that battle. But after a while, they saw the rest of the Fianna that were not in the battle come from all parts of Ireland. And when the Tuatha Dé Danann saw them coming, they put the Druid mist about themselves again and made away. And clouds of weakness came on Finn himself, and on them that were with him with the dint of the fight. And there were many men of the Fianna lost in that battle. And as to the rest, it is a long time they stopped in Alvin of Leinster, till the wounds were entirely healed. And here is where I end my tale for today. But I'll be back with more tales, many more tales. Until then, my friends, enjoy the journey. Slán go fóill. Bye for now. If you enjoyed this story, please give us a thumbs up and comment. It truly helps us.